My Utmost for His Highest, author Oswald Chambers, copyright 1992. Gracious uncertainty, and it shall not yet be revealed what we shall be. 1 John 3:2. Our natural inclination is to be so precise, trying always to forecast accurately what will happen next, that we look upon uncertainty as a bad thing. We think that we must reach some unpredetermined goal, but that is not the nature of the spiritual life. The nature of the spiritual life is that we are certain in our uncertainty. Consequently, we do not put down roots. Our common sense says, well, what if I were in that circumstance? We cannot presume to see ourselves in any circumstance in which we have never been. Certainty is the mark of the common sense life. Gracious uncertainty is the mark of the spiritual life. To be certain of God means that we are uncertain in all of our ways, not knowing what tomorrow will bring. This is generally expressed with a sigh of sadness, but should be an expression of breathless expectation. We are uncertain of the next step, but we are certain of God. As soon as we abandon ourselves to God and do the task He has placed closest to us, He begins to fill our life with surprises. When we become simply a promoter or a defender of a particular belief, something within us dies. That is not believing God. It is only believing our belief about Him. Jesus said, unless you become like as little children, that's Matthew 18:3. The spiritual life is the life of a child. We are not uncertain of God, just uncertain of what He's going to do next. If our certainty is only in our beliefs, we develop a sense of self-righteousness, become overly critical, and are limited by the view that our beliefs are complete and settled. But when we have the right relationship with God, life is full of spontaneous, joyful uncertainty and expectancy. Jesus said, believe in me also. Believe also in me. John 14:1. Not because certain things about me. I'm tongue-tied today. I apologize. Not believe certain things about me. Leave everything to Him, and it will be gloriously and graciously uncertain how He will come in. But you can be certain that He will come. Remain faithful to Him. Spontaneous love. Love suffers long and is kind. 1 Corinthians 13:4. Love is not premeditated, it is spontaneous. That is, it bursts forth in an extraordinary ways. There is nothing of precise certainty in Paul's description of love. We cannot predetermine our thoughts and actions by saying, now I will never think any evil thoughts, and I will believe everything that Jesus would have me to believe. No, the characteristic of love is spontaneity. We don't deliberately set the statements of Jesus before us as our standard, but when His Spirit is having His way with us, we live according to His standard without even realizing it. And when we look back, we are amazed at how unconcerned we have been over our emotions, which is the very evidence that real spontaneous love was there. The nature of everything involved in the life of God in us is only discerned when we have been through it, and it is in our past. The fountains from which love flows are in God, not in us. It is absurd to think that the love of God is naturally in our hearts. As a result of our own nature, His love is there only because it has been poured out in our hearts by the Holy Spirit. Romans 5:5. If we try to prove to God how much we love Him, it is a sure sign that we really don't love Him. The evidence of our love for Him is the absolute spontaneity of our love, which flows naturally from His nature within us. And when we look back, we will not be able to determine why we did certain things. but we can know that we did them according to the spontaneous nature of his love in us. The life of God exhibits itself in this spontaneous way because the foundations of his love are in the Holy Spirit.